Hi, I'm Deneen Matsuda, and thank you for being with me here today. Today's video is about math journaling, and I've seen a lot of math journals on the internet, and it usually is comprised of a journal, and then the teacher opens it, and it's full of ready-made pages that have lessons on them, and then the students, it looks like, glue them in the math journals, and I think they're called often interactive journals, and then they just keep building with them all year. But my journals are a little different, and I wanted to share them with you. I just started math journals last year, really for the first time. It was during map testing, and Kiara raised her hand and asked me, she had a question on circumference and circles, and it was just killing me because she said, I don't understand this. And I said, no, you don't, and you won't until we get there. You're not supposed to know it yet. It's okay. And I said, but when we're done with the map test, I'd be happy to show you if you're interested. And Kiara is a person who hated math all her life, and she was really doing some transforming last year. So we finished the test, and sure enough, she came to me and said, so tell me about this circle stuff now, which I thought was really exciting because how often do our students see something on a standardized test and then come and say, can you please teach it to me? So I sat down and I explained to her about pi and circumference and area and how they were all connected. And then she said, I wish we had like a journal or something, like our composition books that we have for math though. And I said, that's not a bad idea. Are you serious? And she said, I am. I would like to make a journal like that. And so I went on Amazon and I found these little journals, which were very affordable. Wonderful Stanley will provide a link for you, but they were worth every penny. And we finished all but I think 2 pages in the journal. And they became, so look, our first lesson, then we shared it with the class, was on circumference. And instantly, these journals became something that the students valued. And we would put special things in the journal, like lessons that the students really enjoyed. And it was so fun because they are the ones that would say, oh, should we put this in our journals today? And so we take them out. It was just like a treat, something that they would be able to record. And we talked about them being able to keep them through their elementary years and even into secondary school. I don't know if they did keep them, if they ever are referring to them, but they were valuable that year at least. And so we're doing it again this year. But I wanted to share with you, just to give you an idea of some of the types of things we put in them. I wanted them to learn about halves. They really didn't know how to halve. You think your students know what halves of numbers are, but they really needed practice with that. That was one thing we did. Let's see, what else did I want to show you? Oh, this is about my favorite thing in the math journal. This was at our fall fair last year. It was, a booth, and we just cracked up. We called this funny math. Pizza for sale. 1 slice, 3 tickets. 1 cookie, 1 ticket. 1 bag of chips, 1 ticket. But you can get the whole combo for 6 tickets. And, they looked at this when I presented it to them for the longest time, and they're like, wait. Yeah, I said, I know, but we're just going to be quiet about that. And we also then started looking around town for interesting little math funny things. So I'm hoping to do that again this year, looking for funny math things. That's my favorite. Wonderful Stanley came. Oh, here is, an example of fractions. We did great fractions that are greater than 1, fractions that are equal to 1, fractions that are less than 1. We did a lot of fractioning in our math journals. Wonderful Stanley did a lesson on, it's called Painted Cubes with my class, that they really loved. And if you're interested in that lesson, put a comment in the comment section, and I know I can get him to come and teach that lesson. There was one where I don't even remember what this meant, but Fletcher said something and I wrote it down here. Oh, it was here on the haves page. And he said, "We have 2 good whole minutes." And I wrote, "said Fletcher." Now, what was that? I think it was just, math was almost over and they were really upset. And I said, "We don't have time for this." And I remember he looked at the clock and he said, "We have 2 good full minutes. We can do something." They're passionate about math, and that was something I wanted to remember. So they can be, your math journals can be anything, but when our students make them, they become really special and meaningful to them. And they didn't fall apart. They lasted all year long. I remember we did a geometry page where, like perimeter, volume. I had vocabulary like vertices and faces, things like that. So you might want to try this. It's not too late in the year to start. And I think it's something that you and your students will really enjoy. I'll see you next week. I'm Janine Matsuda, and this is my 4th grade class.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.